Yes, we are live. Over to you, Disha.
A very warm welcome on behalf of BRATS team. Before starting the session, I would request if you all can turn on your cameras so that we can have a very interactive session. Also, feel free to ask questions in the chat box or raise your hand. I am Disha and I'm currently pursuing BCom honors from Modi University. Firstly, let me give a quick glimpse about what BRATS actually is. BRATS is an independent organization helps in bringing campus to corporate. It helps students by bridging the gap between theoretical knowledge and providing the full-time experience in the field of management and engineering. Let's look at the what message we have from our Captain Brad. Can we have the video, please?
India is the largest demographic education hub. Still, there are about 4 lakhs of students going
Disha,
abroad
your
for
screen
higher
is not
education year on year.
visible.
But
Disha, your screen is
one
not
side, if I'm
visible.
seeing,
Ma'am. Now is it?
No, you need to share screen.
Ma'am, now?
Yeah.
India is the largest demographic education hub. Still, there are about 4 lakhs of students going abroad for higher education year on year. But one side, if I'm seeing, a lot of Indians are actually leading global corporates. That's the beauty of Indian talent, which needs to be pulled out. BRATS. Now, BRATS, what is BRATS? Everybody's hearing, you need to know what is BRATS. BRATS is brands, research, advertising, technology, and strategies. What we are actually trying to do out here. So our last 3 years research developed this platform to connect industry and
Disha, your
institutions.
screen.
What are platforms we actually need to connect
Disha,
if we want?
Disha,
Yes, ma'am.
your screen is still not visible. 1 second.
Ma'am, now is it visible?
No, I can see myself.
Now, ma'am?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
India is the largest demographic education hub. Still, there are about 4 lakhs of students going abroad for higher education year on year. But one side, if I'm seeing, a lot of Indians are actually leading global corporates. That's the beauty of Indian talent, which needs to be pulled out. BRATS. Now, BRATS, what is BRATS? Everybody's hearing, you need to know what is BRATS. BRATS is brands, research, advertising, technology, and strategies. What we are actually trying to do out here. So our last 3 years research developed this platform to connect industry and institutions. What are platforms we actually need to connect if we want you to get ready for the industry while you're in the institute itself? You are thoroughly going through your curriculums, but there are a lot of real-time experiences, case studies, life projects, courses maybe, and that has to be enrolled into your internships, otherwise recruitments. That's what we are here to bring out through your BRATS. My name is Suresh Kumar Kurapati, and I'm the captain for BRATS. We already have about 1,000 plus students associated with us, and a lot of students actually helping us to grow within the campuses, being our campus ambassadors. That's what we look forward to, and I welcome you all, and let's grow together. Thank you so much. Goodbye.
Yeah. So, I'm very fortunate that I get a chance to introduce our today's guest, Mr. Ravi Jeswani. Our speaker is an assistant professor at the Vivekanand Education Society Institute of Management Studies and Research. He is skilled in technical recruiting, market research, sources, and screening. He had also worked in Maruti Suzuki, providing the sales as a senior sales consultant, which is engaged in business as an automobile company in highly competitive market. Being an MD graduate from IIM Ahmedabad, he is also a reviewer at International Journal of Advanced Research and Innovative Ideas in Education. Over to you, sir.
Good evening, everybody. It's my pleasure being on BRATS platform, and I really hope a lot of engagement through you students, right? I can see participants joining from Nepal as well, right? From, I guess, Gansham Tiwari from Pokhara University. Welcome, you, Gansham, right, for this BRATS interactive webinar. Since the topic is saying, and the topic says, everybody sells, right? Let's and I'm sure when the topic is said everybody sells, some bell must be ringing in your head saying how the how somebody is saying that everybody sells, why this topic, right? And it's very interesting things that we are going to today, and some of the points that I'm going to put and tell you, why everybody is in sales, in some way or the other, right? So before I start my presentation, let me ask you one simple forward questions, right? You can and it would be great that if you unmute and ask and reply, and then you can mute yourself. And if you want to text in, right, because I'll take that text box questions at the end, right? So that is how we'll go ahead with this webinar. So let me ask you a simple and basic question. What is the first thing that comes to your mind when I say, sales? What is the first thing that comes to your mind when I say sales?
Clients.
Okay, clients. Yep. Somebody else. What else comes to your mind when I say sales?
Exchange of goods.
Exchange of
Revenue.
goods, revenue. Okay, exchange of goods, revenue, goods and services. Yep, yep, Prabha, goods and services. What else?
Involves money.
Sorry. Yes,
Involves
Priya.
money.
Okay,
Involves money.
okay, involves money. Okay.
Targets. So sales targets.
Sales targets, very, numbers. Sales is all about numbers. Whenever you think, absolutely, yeah. What else? Fantastic, yep. What
Target.
else, yeah. What else, whenever you think of sales, if you're not from sales background as well, that's absolutely fine. What is the first thing that strikes your mind when you say sales? Somebody's saying, goods and services. Somebody's saying, targets. Somebody's saying, numbers. Somebody's saying, what is that you guys said? Um, what is that? Goods and services. Yeah, yeah. So everybody has a different point of view of what I'm saying sales is all about, right? Now please understand one thing, right? When you're saying sales, everybody has a different definition, right? Somebody would say, so customer relationship. Somebody would say meeting targets. Absolutely right. Somebody would say, it's all about numbers. Somebody would say, sir, exchange of goods. Somebody would say revenue. Somebody would say profit, right? So everybody has a different ideology of sales, right? Now here comes the second thing. Look around you. Look around, wherever you're sitting. Just take 30 seconds and look around, what is there. Let me just share my screen as well, so that it becomes more interactive. Is my screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Let me just do a slideshow. Yes, just take 30 seconds and look around yourself. What do you find? What do you see? What are the, okay, or rather, let me put it in this way. What are the things or the objects that you can see? Anybody? Look around. Anybody who would like to unmute and see? What are the things that you can observe and you can see? What is there besides you? A chair, a bed, maybe a TV, a laptop, what you are having, right, in front of your mobile phone. Now, imagine this, right? All the things present around you, has it been sold to you? Have you bought these things? You name a thing which is there, right, where whatever objects you have in front of you. A pen, maybe a book, a diary, right? A mattress, maybe on which you're sitting, a cot, a chair. Is there anything that, maybe somebody would say, sir, this is gifted to me. All right, that's fine. If it has been gifted to you, but somebody has bought that, right, and has gifted to you. Somebody has purchased it. So at the end, the point what I'm trying to make is that, Everybody, whatever things you see around, right, is sellable, right? And you have bought it by paying, certain price for it, right? Isn't it true? Anybody thinks that, whatever you have beside you is that we have not bought that? Can somebody, you can unmute, Yep. Anybody who feels, whatever is there besides us is different. It's not bought. It's not sellable. Just look around. Yes, Ritesh. Anything that you feel, specs that you're wearing, maybe you a wardrobe beside behind you. Yeah, a watch that you're wearing, right? Or earphones, the shirt, right? Everything that you are having, right, is sellable, right? And that's why, sales is one of the most integral part of a business. The only, the thing that gives you revenue, that gives you profits, that gives you money, right? Rest all will be an expenditure. If you start from manufacturing operations, right? Please understand. Okay. I'll make a point. Look at this picture. Look at this picture. Picture this. What can you make out from this picture?
Child is requesting her mother to buy something.
Okay. Okay. Any other thoughts? Any other thoughts? Yeah. A child is requesting her mother to buy this. Yeah. What else? Any other idea? You can be vocal. Yes, Vishwajit. Yes, Neha. Yep. You can be vocal.
ABC is thinking about this is not the product that I want, mother. That can be one thing.
Yeah, could be. This is not the product. You're looking the other way around. Yeah, Ritesh has a different view of looking at this picture and saying, this is not what she wants. Maybe her mother is buying this and she's saying, no, mom, she's pleading, I don't want this. Maybe I want something else. Absolutely fine. Yep. What else? Everybody has a different way of looking at it. And that's why I've given the caption, picture this. Let's see what interesting answers comes in. And there's a point that I'll make. Yes. Go ahead.
She would find it attractive to buy it.
Okay, finding attractive to buy it. All right, yep. What else? Anything else that you can picture from this? Just imagine this picture is given and, I'm just asking
we
you.
can't say.
Yep.
We can't say need, but a want of something.
Need and want concept. Okay. So she's wanting to have this. That is what you're trying to say?
Yes, sir, exactly. That is a want.
Okay. So she is wanting to have this, right? And that is what you're saying. It's a want. It's not a need. Okay. Somebody else? Fantastic. Yeah. Interesting answers coming up. What else? Yes, Ruxana, Pooja, Vasana, Gurung. There are many who have joined in. Yes, are still joining. What are your thoughts? Anything else that comes to your mind?
We have one comment in the chat box. Maybe she just received it and seems happy about it.
She just received it. Yeah, that's what somebody said, mom has given her, but here, she's happy about it. Somebody had a different perspective that, she has got this, mom has given this, but she's not happy. She wants something else. Correct? Could be another way of looking, depicting this picture, another thought process. Somebody else? The point is, even when you are a child, right, your selling starts from there, right? If you see this picture, now what is the child trying to do? She's trying to convince her mother, if you look from the sales perspective, right? She doesn't know what sales is, right? Please understand, sales is an integral part of you. Maybe, you have not done, professionally, but say even a child, starts selling. Now, when he or she wants a toy, right? He starts pleading, starts convincing, you will use emotional quotient, right? And do various kinds of things to, get that toy. Please understand this. On the other way around, if I say, if a baby is crying, a mother will try, to give a toy and make her, quiet. Please understand this, picture, why I have put it, right? So the point what I'm trying to say with the topic when I'm saying everybody sells, so from a child, he doesn't know what sales is, but there are inherent qualities that, you do when you're pursuing somebody, you're trying to convince, right? And I'll clear this. Okay, let me come to this picture. and I'll continue with this part. Can you guess some of this personalities? Can you guess some of these personalities? Yep. The first one is
Steve
quite the.
Jobs. Steve
Yep.
Jobs.
Okay.
Steve Jobs, Larry Ellison, Henry Ford,
Henry Ford.
Okay.
and
And
Dhirubhai Ambani.
Dhirubhai Ambani.
Dhirubhai Ambani. Okay. Okay. Larry Ellison. Correct. Absolutely right. The reason and the is not Henry Ford. Right. Who said Henry Ford? Is not Henry Ford, by the way. One more guess if you could guess him. Anybody? It's not Henry Ford. Have you heard the name David Ogilvy? Have you heard the name Ogilvy?
Yes.
He's that person.
Yes,
He's the
sir.
owner of David Ogilvy, right? Ogilvy and Mather, if you know, as an advertising agency, right? And this guy is known as the father of advertising agency, right? So rightly said, first one is Steve Paul Jobs, right? And second one is your Dheeraj Lal Harishchandra, also known as Dhirubhai Ambani, right? Third one, David Ogilvy, and fourth one is Larry Ellison. Now you must be guessing, why do I have put this picture? What is the reason that I have put this picture? Anybody? What is the reason? What I'm trying to depict from this? Why this great personalities? When I'm saying, when we're talking about sales and everybody sells, all are from different backgrounds. Yeah, one is from advertising, one is from technology, one is the co-founder of Oracle, one is a retailer, a businessman, and now he has such a big empire, and his son is one of the fifth richest man in the world, right? Please understand, all of them have done sales, right? And if you see Steve Jobs, if you see Dhirubhai Ambani, right, they have started from sales, right? And this is where they have grown. And the data says 50% of the people, those who are at the CEO and VP level, are coming from sales background, right? That's what the data says. All the top-notch people, what you see in the business industry, right? Majorly, 50% of them are comprising from the sales background, right? They have done sales one point or the other, another in their complete career, right? So that is what, and sales will give you a lot of insights, right? And will make you very business, will make you very successful from the business perspective as well, or else from the company's perspective, if not an entrepreneur, but from the company's perspective, if you want to become a GM and so on, VP and CEO, right? So please understand, right? The reason why I'm putting this is that the data says, and it's not I'm saying, the data says that more than 50% of people at the top notch position, right, are coming from the sales background, right? Now look at this. The question: have you sold anything? Even if you don't have a work experience, have you sold anything? Anytime, any point of time in your life till date, have you sold anything? Those who have worked must have. Those who have not may not be. But the question is, in general, I'm asking, not from the corporate perspective. Have you sold anything anytime in your life? Yes, Ritesh, you have something to say? Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, a lot of things actually. Like I like to change my phone most often, and I exchange my phone, and I earn some money. Then I add some money that I've earned, and I do a lot of things, different, not only the electronics, and a lot of things that I have
Okay.
passion about. My
Okay.
guitar, my computer, my laptop. That's all I've exchanged.
Okay. So in return, or maybe you sell out first, that get some money, and then you buy a new one. Yeah, could be either ways, or you could be exchanging buyback, right? Could be another way to look at it. Absolutely. Yeah, somebody else. Yeah. Yes. Anybody else who has sold anything till date? Anything? As Ritesh was saying, buyback, or maybe on OLX there are platforms, where people, they post in, right? They put their photographs, and then they put up a price, they put some, a description, some features, some years, models, and then there is buyers who are coming and interacting. You must have done. Please understand, somewhere down the line in your point in time till date, you must have sold something or the other, right? Okay. And if you're saying no, okay, let me clear with one more point. Understand this. When you're going at the time of interview, you're nothing else but you're selling yourself. That is what sales is all about. Even when you're going for an interview, what do you do at the time of interview? You are selling yourself, right? Get the idea, guys. Why, the topic says, everybody sells. Anytime anybody asks you, you can put in a point and tell them, look, a child will sell. You're going an interview. What do? You tell about, how good you are. You tell about, how skillful you are. You tell, how good you are with your communication. What you're doing is ultimately you're trying to sell yourself, showing that how good you are so that you get recruited. People buy you, right? Indirectly, if from the sales perspective, if the term if I use, right, so that they can buy that, right? Please understand. Do you agree with me? Yes, no? Yeah, Ritesh. No, is nodding head. Yep. Yes, Ritesh.
Yes, sir. I'm.
You're agreeing. Okay, I thought you're not agreeing. Okay. So agreeing is this. Yeah, no, not this. Okay. All right. Two kinds of people in business. Always remember. In all overall business, when you talk about, there are majorly two kinds of business. Who would be the first one? Any guesses? Who would be first, kind of a person? Anyone? Any guesses? When I'm saying two kinds of people in business, majorly two kinds of people. I want others to speak as well, right? Not only
Buyer
Ritesh.
and seller.
Bad and
Seller.
okay, seller, buyer and seller. You're saying okay? Yep. Yes. Anybody else? Buyer and seller. Okay. Interesting one. Yep.
Purchaser.
Purchaser. Okay. Again, on similar lines, right? When I'm saying buyer and seller, you're saying purchaser, another name for buyer, right? Yes. Somebody else has a different point of view, different
There are
thoughts.
endless possibilities, sir. Like two
Ah,
kinds of people. You could say a person who sees things optimistically or pessimistically. That can also be a point of view. You can see it.
okay. Okay. Optimistically, pessimistically. Okay. Great. Yeah.
The owner and
Something. Yeah. Yes.
in terms of business, one can be the owner of their company, and it can be employee also. In my
So one would be the
business.
owner, the boss, and besides, under him would be all employees. Correct? Yeah. Another way to look at it. Right. Somebody else. Yeah. Interesting answers I'm getting. I'm happy. A lot of interesting answers. Yep. One more, and then I'll tell you what do I mean when I'm saying two kinds of people in business. Yeah. Anybody would like to try? First, those who sell, right?
I do so.
Yeah. First, those who sell, and second one, those who support people who sell. Please understand this, right? Majorly, in business, there will be two kinds of people: those who sell and those who support people who sell. Now, why do I say this? Why do I say, first, majorly those who sell, right? And they would be, playing a very, very important part in every business function. Please remember, as I said, these are the people who will be getting you revenues, right? And there are other set of people, right? Those who are different departments altogether, maybe not in sales, but ultimately what they're doing is they are supporting people who sell, right? Take other departments, take finance, take operations, take manufacturing, right? Take say you guys, somebody would be doing say branding, somebody is doing advertising, somebody is doing technical support, somebody is working in BPO, somebody is working in TPO, KPO, right? Please understand, all this are sales support function. Majorly in your business function, in your entire businesses, two people would be highly regarded. First would be the salespeople. Look, if somebody who has worked in a corporate, right, you will understand that how salespeople, they coordinate with different departments, right? They will coordinate with CRM department. They'll coordinate with finance department, right? They will coordinate maybe technical department. Now look, if you are in, for example, just to clear this point, for example, if you're in say engineer, right? When I was just chatting, some of you are from the engineering background, right? So or say an IT engineer, a computer engineer. Now look, you are selling a software, for example, right? Now you have sold the software successful to a company, maybe say B2B, right? Business to business, what we are saying. And they have bought your, say, an Oracle software, right? We just talked about Larry, say Oracle software, you have sold to a company. And now understand this, the technical, support would come into the picture, the technical background people. Since, even if you're not technical, if you're not from computer background, if you're not from IT background, but you're good with sales and you are, able to sell a software, but technical sales support would be required, right? Now and then, if you want to update, if there is bugs, right? Or say you are into, infrastructure setup, technical support guy will come and say, what kind of topology is needed, right? On all this stuff, payment support would be needed, right? The finance payment. Now, please again understand, if I'm saying, you can pay through whatever mediums, again, that is coming from the finance department where they are giving you, or you're tied up with the bank. Now, bank is also facilitating you with the salespeople. You guys are giving an option, sir, we have option number 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Or service for that matter. If I say after sales service is again a support function. Majorly, when I'm saying business, it will be involved in, and sales would be topping the notch, right? That's why you will see sales people are highly regarded. They are the one who will be getting incentives, right? No other department, no other function gets incentives, only for the mere reasons that they bring in a lot of revenue. No other reason apart from this. They will go abroad. They will go for holidays, right? If they do well, if they achieve targets, right? They will get free goodies. Other departments, they don't really get that, right? Are you guys with me? Everybody? Are you getting what I'm trying to say?
Yes, sir.
Yes? Yeah, just in between, just give me a heads up that you're there with me, right? Otherwise, you keep on blubbering. So everyone is selling either goods, products, services, experience, property, events, just to name few, right? So you name a thing, and everybody is selling, right? Please, I have one thing, idea. I've missed out that, people sell ideas, get big money of only for selling ideas, events, properties, experiences, services, goods or products, right? So everybody is into selling, come what may, right? So as a business, and please understand, lot of times, when people hear sales, they are afraid. They run away, right? And they say, look, sales, it's very tough, right? As initially when I asked, what is the first thing that comes to mind? Somebody said numbers, targets. There is so much of pressure. People, refrain from, getting into sales, right? They really feel it is very, very tough. Or maybe, to other way to put it around, I'm an introvert. Is sales really for me, right? I'm not extrovert. Extrovert people only can do sales, right? There are a lot of things and myths with regards to sales as well, right? So let me bring that point in few minutes down the line, right? So what do we sell, right? When I'm saying, yeah, so ideas I put in here. So ideas, compromises. Now look, when I'm saying, at the time of interview also, right? What are you doing? You're selling yourself to get our work done. Someone else to do something for else. You'll try to convince your friend, right? Sell on our friends, maybe movies, songs, right? Maybe, mera Paytm kara de. What are we doing is ultimately we are trying to sell ourselves, or, to get our work done. We, ask or request somebody. So everybody is doing, is selling something or the other in one way or the other, right? Do you agree with me, right? Are we selling ideas, compromises to get our work done, right? We use various, techniques. We will butterfly somebody. We'll say, you do this time, next time I'll do this. There are various ways to look at it on a, a normal platform, I'm saying, and not from the business point of view. Just to make you guys understand, when I'm saying everybody sells means what. So everybody is selling something or the other, right? In you name, it's there, right? Different titles, same job. Look at the array of titles that you can see on the screen. Sales representative, business development executive, sales consultant, solution provider, customer consultant, sales development, right? You name, and there are so many different nomenclatures for different titles for your job roles. But ultimately, more often or less, right, the work what they do is same. They will try to sell and get revenue for the company, right? And as you can see, business development, you're getting, you're developing the business, right? Sales executive, sales consultant, right? Solution provider, customer consultant, different names. Job almost will remain the same. Your bottom line will remain the same. Get, sell your service or a product, right, with the support function if needed, and then get revenue for the company, which will ultimately lead to profit for that organization, right? That is what the sales is all about, right? Other words used, right? As I was saying, persuade, you persuade somebody, you convince somebody, you entice, advise, you woo somebody, you prompt somebody, right? So these are, typically words that you will normally come across when you're doing sales, when you're selling, right? Either you try to persuade your customer, you try to convince them, you try to entice them, you try to, build, ring a bell to them, right? Make them excited for their product or service, what you're trying to sell, woo the customers, right? With different techniques, prompt them, advise them. So all is this what you guys do, right? When you're selling, and even if you're not selling, you will do this. Some of the facts that I would like to tell you about the sales, right? Fact number one: 70% of graduate will have done, this is what the data says, have done sales, once in their career. Maybe a small 1 week or internship or somewhere down the line, as I was saying, right? And this is the overall stats, through globally, I'm saying, not from the Indian perspective, globally, right? So 70% of graduate have done sales once in their career, right? And please understand, when I'm saying VPs and CEOs, all this, top-notch people who have reached there have done sales once, at least once in their careers, right? They have done that. So which, and I'll tell you, how it makes a difference. Yeah, sales graduates out on their own graduate friends, right? So people from different departments, honestly, I've seen people who have earned lot money in sales, right? In fact, have earned lot many incentives. Forget about the salary which they keep, right, in their bank accounts. There's incentives they have done. If you're really good with sales, sky is the limit of earning, right? And still, the data says that sales is still the most in demand job category. Will always be there, come what may, even if there is a time of recession, right? There was a time of recession with IT field, with finance field, but sales would always be there. Please understand, this function is so critical. And sometimes sales demands would be much more higher even in the recession, because you require to sell more and more, so that at least you get some profit, yeah, for the company, if the company is not doing really well, right? So please understand, if you want to take sales as an career, as a job, right? It's still the most in demand job categories. Normally, I hear from students, and from other specialization, from finance operations, sir, sales marketing walo ko to job sir 100% mil jati hai, they get job very easily, and there is so much of demand that somewhere or the other they land up into job, and we other departments have to slog really hard to get into our domain function, right? Because the reason is sales is the most in job, because we require a lot of good sales force, maybe big sales force, depending on the demand. If the company is really doing good, they will keep on recruiting people to expand their business, right? To expand their market, to go to different regions if they're doing well. That is how they, if they expand, if the company is doing good, more sales demand would be created as a job, right? So these are certain facts that with respect to sales as a domain. Just as a salesperson, right? How as people look at salespeople, and as an individual, you look at salespeople with certain time, as you go climb up the ladder, you go into corporate, they really know what works and what doesn't, right? And salespeople are very competitive. That is one, and they should be, right? Salespeople have to be highly motivated, very competitive, right? Sometimes they're aggressive as well, right? So but here comes a catch, that again I'll ponder on the point. Lot many times students say, sir, I'm introvert, but is sales for me? Can I pick up sales? You can, right? Doesn't mean that if you're introvert, if you're shy, you don't. So there are certain techniques, there are certain training, there are certain skills which can be mastered, and you can become a good salespeople, right? You definitely can. And I've seen in industry those who are really a very shy introvert, but then they have opened up, right? So it's same like when you go into graduation, or when you do a management, when you're told to do presentations. Initially, a lot many people are introvert, they have stage fear, but down the line, in 2 years, you will see completely they have changed, they have opened up, and they have become masters of presentation. Same can be applied in sales as well. So even if you're introvert, and if you feel, so how would I do, I don't open up with people, how do I conversate with people, It's nothing you can master that. There would be certain skills which has to be developed, certain training needs to be there, and with that, there is everybody has their own way of doing sales, right? So I'll come to that point as well, right? Sales myth, yeah. Some are you guys there with me? Everybody? Yep.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sales myth. Okay, I'll tell you uh, what. Okay, according to you, let me put it this way. Let me ask you, what do you think are some of the sales myth? What do you think of how people carry this notion of sales?
So even I carried before I
Yep.
did my internship
Yep.
that most of the sales are concerned with personal selling and going door to door and all.
Okay.
Most but that's also the basic perception of sales. Ki we have to constantly be showcasing our product. Ki sir, please le lo, please le lo.
You have to
We
beg, you
have
have to plead, you have to convince. Okay. Okay. Yep. What else? What
Achieving
else?
targets.
Achieving targets, right? Number game. So if we don't achieve targets, we'll be thrown out of companies, right? If we don't perform, okay. What else?
Salespeople
What else?
are cunning and liars.
Are cunning and
Liars. They lie.
liars.
Tell us a liar.
Correct. Absolutely. Yeah. When you talk about salesperson, this is very cunning guy, a very smart guy, right? Or what we say, girak dekh ke puri bandega, or there are different terms in layman's what we use, right? Absolutely right. When we talk about or when we see even a salesperson, we come with this notion. He's very smart, cunning. कुछ ना कुछ बेच के जाएगा. I will try to refrain myself. I don't want to buy. I'll try to restrict. Yep. And still you will try. Sometimes you will buy. Yep. That is there. True. What else? Anything else that is coming
सर
up? Yeah.
वी हैव आल्सो हर्ड दैट बेचने के लिए वो कुछ भी बोलेगा, बस
कुछ भी
प्रोडक्ट
बोलेगा.
बिक जाने दो, उसके बाद आपका कोई नाता नहीं होगा उससे, कोई रिश्ता नहीं है आपका उससे.
हाँ, okay. एक बार बेच दिया तो बाद में कभी शक्ल नहीं दिखाएगा.
बस सर,
That is what you're trying to say. Okay. हाँ. So once his work is done, he will say tata bye bye, and if I need him, he will never come back. Okay. Yep. Sales is all about money. Yep. Yeah. Okay. Suresh sir has told that. Yeah. Is it coming now as a chat or it is before one? Okay. I think it's now. Yeah. Prabha Kapil is saying convince or confuse. Absolutely. Yeah. Either you convince or you confuse them ultimately, but he or she should buy. Yeah. Correct, Prabha. That's again, what we think from the sales guy perspective or a girl perspective. What else? Anything else that is coming differently, a different
You
perspective?
have to be you have to be a talkative one or extrovert to be a salesperson.
Absolutely. Yeah. That is what the point even I have made, that you have to be extrovert. Sales is not, for the introvert or what we say, sales is not everybody's cup of tea, right? And that is what the saying goes, that everybody cannot do sales, right? But to some extent, it is true. I won't deny that, right? That, everybody can do it sales, but it can be mastered, right? The point is, even if you have the flair for sales, you're not good at it, but you can master that, right? With some training and with some skills, you can do that. If you have certain flair for sales, or but there has to be little, a liking for sales. It shouldn't be that I'm not liking and then still I'm being there. Then maybe you'll not be able to survive in that, right? But it is not that it is only for introvert, as I already say. Yeah. What else? What else other myths do you have?
Yes.
Sir, from the
I would
job
like to add
perspective.
out here. Sales is nothing but not selling about the product, but sales is all about making your own relationship. That is what I strongly believe, because you can sell one product, but if you have a stronger relationship with one person, you can sell any product to the person. So the first thing is you should win the confidence of the other person. For that, you need to win the faith. So
Win the faith.
that comes with a lot of
Correct.
confidence. That lot of confidence in whatever you sell your own relationship. If you have a relationship, then you can sell any kind of product. So sales always runs on the relationship basis. That's what my
Correct. Now,
strongly
but
believe.
absolutely right. Customer relationship, or you build the relationship. Now, next question comes is, if we are talking about relationship, how do we build that relationship? How do we, if you're absolutely right when you're saying, we need to build a relationship which makes things easy. The next question comes is, and it's, for some, it becomes very difficult to, open up, as I said, or build that relationship, right? It will take some time. For some, it will take less time. For some, it will be, it will take a longer time, as a matter of fact. But yes, building relationship really helps. Please, one more point that I would like to add, sales, whenever you're talking about sales, always look, from the value perspective, right? Lot of, sales, when we talk about sales, we don't look from the value perspective. And this is where sometimes we really go wrong, or we go off the track, right? If you understand, what value you can deliver, and look at from the customer's point of view, what is the value he's looking for, most often than not, the sales would be, cracked, more often than not, right? So initially, when we are talking about relationship, when we're talking about customer relationship, or maintaining, a good relationship with any XYZ person, right? We also need to understand why it's not only the relationship, but it's also the value that he expects apart from the relationship that we sometimes, we will end up making good relationship, but then it's not necessary that he will buy from us. It's not necessary, because he doesn't see his value in what we are, providing him as a product, or as a sales, or as a service, right? So, but then still that relationship, maybe not today, could be, beneficial in later stages, right? So that is absolutely fine. But we need to understand, please understand, guys, value should always be more than the cost, what you're providing to the customers. And that is what major of the companies across globally they do. If you provide more value than the price that you're charging, most of not, people will feel convinced, and they will buy your product or a service that you're offering, right? So your value should always be high, right? Because I personally say, and price is what customer pays, right? And value is what he gets, as simple as that, right? So price is always what the customer will pay, but he is looking for the value in return, right? So if as a sales guy, as a salesperson, or whatever you're selling as a sales, or as a product or a service, if you look from the value perspective, more often than not, you will go on a right path, right? If you understand this, and always remember, your value should be higher, or try to create that high value. Lot of good salesperson, even if the product is not having that high value, but they will try to make it or portray in that fashion, that actually, the customers will feel, yep, the value what is, portraying, right? And that is a skill of a sales guy, in which the way he portrays or keeps, his product or service on the desk, right? So it's all about, how you portray, how you put the value in front of, and of course, customer relationship will go a long way, even if the deal doesn't crack, right? It's absolutely fine. Sometimes, I see salespeople really get demotivated, that they have put so much of time and effort, because their goal was to get, the sales done, or crack the deal, or to sell that service what they were opting for, they were hoping for. And if they don't get, they feel really demoralized, they feel demotivated. Shouldn't be the case. It's absolutely fine, if you fail, because normally it is said that, you get 10 no's, and then you get one yes in sales, right? So, and it's always that, um, you keep on following, yeah, in sales. You keep on following up, and try and, tell. Always remember one more thing, in as a sales rule, it's a 80-20 rule, right? Which sometimes is very beneficial, just as one of a technique, I'll say. That means what? You give, and then you ask, right? It works, right? So, even when you're doing a deal with your client, always, first give, and then ask, more often than not. And what we call is that 80-20 rule, right? In sales, that means, and that is what happens even when you're doing a retail sales, right? Try to, look from his point of view, give him a lot of benefits, give him a lot of, value what he's looking for, and then ask for the deal. More often than not, your deal will be cracked, right? It becomes easy. And that's what I said, once you enter into corporates, lot of training, a lot of skills would be given to you, which will really make you a better sales, a skillable salesperson, and that will make a lot of difference to you guys, right? Yeah, any questions before I go ahead? Any questions that before I go ahead?
Ravi, I would like to add one point out here, if you allow me. As you said, the values are very important. Value in my learning, because all my last 22 years I've been doing sales, so it's
Yeah.
one of my favorite subject.
Yeah.
Value for me, it does come with the product, but positioning is marketing, how you well portray, that is comes to marketing. But
Yep.
the advisory selling actually builds the relationship, you know.
Yep.
Advisory selling, and there is something called guerrilla selling, because
Yep.
there are two types of selling happens, wherein people chipkofy and lelo, that is guerrilla selling. But
Yep.
when you're doing advisory selling, that automatically the product and the value automatically comes. That's where the relationship builds. So that's an art of a sales, of course, but
Yep.
value, product value does come with the product designing and how well it is, helping the customer. So my
Correct.
take is all about advisory selling, which actually
So
helps in sales to
so
build
so
the.
what? Correct. So what you're looking at is you're looking from a different perspective. So you have now value when I say, right? So value in mathematical terms, I firmly believe is benefit upon cost, right? And that is what the customer will look for, or a client will look for, that what is the benefit is getting and what is the cost that is putting in, and ultimately what is the value. So whenever we talk about value for money, we talk about always, as an Indian, as a client, we always compare what is value for money for us, right? How much are we paying? So value in mathematical terms or in mathematical formula is nothing but benefit upon the cost. How much benefit I'm getting and what is the cost that I'm putting in as a product or a service, and that will tell me, derive me a value, whether and that's why then I will say, okay, all right, I think the price is really high because the benefit what I'm getting and the cost what I'm putting, and then that will tell the client will refrain or will come up with a lot of objections because you don't see that benefit and the cost, and ultimately that boils down to value, right? So that's the simple mathematical formula. When I say, yeah, advisor is selling what you're telling, or what we also say consultative selling, right? Consultant is a word that we also use, where we try to understand what the customer needs and wants is, right? That is what, when I said different titles, right? And that is how company looks at it, rather than saying selling, act as a consultant, right? Because consultant is what they will try to understand the need and wants of a customer. And that is what, so one more trick of the trade is, whenever you're into sales, don't think that you're a salesperson. Think as from the consultant perspective, right? Think that you're consultant, don't think as sales, because when you think consultant, your ideology will change, and the way you behave will automatically change and will help you crack down the sales as well, right? So that is one formula that is being used, that understand the needs and wants. See, look, there are a lot many consultants who get a lot many big money, but what they do is they try to understand the needs. They will say, show me your finance, there is a problem, and they will try to solve that problem. That is what consultants do, and that is what you guys have to do as a sales. There is a problem with this guy, and help him to solve his problem, right? Maybe a coming problem, or maybe the problem in the past, or the current problem, right? So many a times, you ask, a conversation, a sales guy will say, how are things going, sir? He'll try to open up with different techniques, so that the conversation begins. And as rightly said by Suresh sir, that, we need to build up a relationship. And then, we say, sir, kaisa chal raha hai? How are things working? How is business doing? For example, if I'm looking from business point of view, and he will say, sab theek hi chal raha hai. And then you are stuck, sab theek hi chal raha hai, main isko kya bolu? Right? And if he says that, please understand, he's into business, he has certain goals, right? So look, what goal says, look what, future, to uska kuch to goal hai, try to help him, and then come into the picture and say, sir, you want to reach there, I am there, okay, I'll help you, buy this product, or maybe this product or services. I'm just giving you a hypothetical situation, how you have to think and how you have to, undergo when and you have to think from the consultant perspective, not from the sales perspective, right? Don't think that you're a sales executive. Think from, though, you'll be given on your visiting card sales executive, or sales BDE, what we normally call. These are the two titles which are given. But think, and some companies will say sales consultant. I also see some of executive goes to their manager and says, sir, ये sales executive term हटा दो sir, लोग हमको entertain नहीं करते, हमसे भागते हैं. So it's better we use consultant. Yeah, that is better word, as so that at least people will entertain us. That is different way, or different myths that people have regarding sales, even when they are working. that people don't entertain us whenever we give the visiting card, and then they say sales kuch bechna hai. Rightly said with many of you, right? So Gunjan is saying return on investment. Correct, Gunjan, right? Public relation helps to make more sales. Correct. So please understand, this PR, advertising, this all are functions of marketing, and sales, mind you, still dominates very, very important function. So in this, what I say in this big C, right? Sales is, one of the important, I would say, a fish, right, or a shark, I would say, in this big C. Rest all, advertising, PR, market research are all there, but sales, will always take a good amount of chunk as a very dominant function with when you talk about marketing. So ideally, you guys would be landing up into sales or market research or maybe PR or maybe advertising or maybe branding. So these all are functions of marketing, but sales is one of the important one, because again I say, advertising will share a lot of money. Market research will share a lot of money. Look, all this will share a lot of money. Sales is the only one which will get, money in your pockets. And that is how sales become one of the dominant, function of in a marketing, right? Are you with me, everybody? Are you getting this? Yes? Shall we go ahead?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I'll just minimize the chat box. Yeah. Right. So is my PPT stuck? 1 second. Yeah. So people run away from sales. These are the sale myths, right? It's only for extrovert people. And as we were discussing, can be mastered by acquiring certain skills, right? That can be really, really done with lot of training, and people will give you, in corporates, they will give you training. Maybe your sales manager, maybe HR as a team, right? You will be given training, but look, here is a catch: you will be given a very limited training, right, with respect to that product or service. That's it. And when you change an industry from one to another, or when your product changes, your training will change, because you have to understand that product as well, right? So your dimensions would change, your features would change, right? So you're going from selling laptops to mobile phones. So again, your features will change, your specifications will change, your technology changes. So it will keep on changing. Your training will keep on changing. But look, your fundamentals, if are really strong. Okay. Also, one more point that I would like to address. Lot many times sales managers would say, I have done this, right, and this should be inculcated in my sales team, right? But I feel that is really, really a wrong way to look at it, right? Each sales representative or a sales executive, what I've learned in corporates, when I was also in sales, right, most of the times your sales manager will try to impose his qualities, and he'll try to portray, look, this is how I have become a sales manager, look, this is what fundamentally I've done ABC, right, or this is how you have to talk. But always will not be true. Every sales executive has a different way to do it, and now are gone are the days when you follow ABC rule. You have to be very adaptive, right? So if you go by standards, ABC, when I was working in automobile industry, there was standard set of way that you have to approach a customer, or standard sets of FAQs, or this is a model, or these are the features, and these are the technical specifications. But gone are the days. Now if you see, you have to be very adaptable, right? And adaptable, when I'm saying, from the customer perspective, right? You have to co-create the solution from the customer's point of view, right? So for example, okay, I'll give you with an example. So for example, customer says that I from the company's point of view, says, I want to buy online. The company has to give him that platform of that he can buy it online, right? Or the customer says, I want a simple transaction. I really want to. So don't start giving him lot of, understand what he wants, right? That is what he's looking for. He's looking for a simple transaction. Don't start giving him a lot of gyan, saying, this is also method that you can transact, or this is the facility we're giving. Don't do that. He wants to do a check payment, for example, hypothetically. Just tell him, okay, we have this, and that's it. Don't give him, or and sometimes as a product knowledge also, I see lot of people will start giving a lot how much they understand as a technical stuff. Not required, right? If it doesn't need it, don't spend your time and energy telling him, these are the functions, these are the features. If he asks, so ask. Always a good salesperson would be a very effective listener, right? And these are basic fundamental mistakes that a lot of salespeople they do. They don't listen, right? They speak more, right? Yeah, you listen first and then you speak very, very less, right? So you hear not to speak, right? You hear to understand, and then provide him the solutions. That is again, these are all the fundamental things, and I'm sure you would be doing this. But still, I see, and whenever I still have many friends in the industry when I speak, and or they are at good, manager level, and they also say, the sales people are very different, and today's generation are very smart. Okay, don't underestimate them. You guys are very smart than what we were. You, when we say smart, you guys are very sharp itself. Memories is very good, very sharp. Less time is needed to do training, right? But here comes fundamentally still a lot of today's millennial generations goes wrong, and some of the basics of sales would always remain, right? You have to be a good listener. So and this would be given as a training to you, right? You will be doing this, and certain sales steps, depending on the organization that you enter into, right? So that is how it will be done from the corporate perspective. Yes, any questions before I move ahead? Any questions before I move ahead? It's 8 on my watch. Will I'll just try to conclude, and if there are certain questions, I'll come to it. So yes, any questions from your side? You are open to ask me questions regarding to sales or with regard to the topic. If you have any queries, if you want certain techniques, if I'll try to answer that, right, if I can, right? Let me see if there is something that is popping up that is boggling in your mind, or maybe you'll be in, your placement, if you're into second year or in first year, your internship will start soon, whether I should take sales, or you're deciding, whether I should enter into sales and marketing as a field. What are the challenges, right? Will I be successful? How can I measure? Will it be doing good to me? There are a lot of things that comes in a student's head when they think about sales. I get a lot of this questions, hence I'm putting up. Yeah.
Hello. Good evening, sir.
Yes. Yes. Good evening.
Yeah. So I have a question with respect to financial advisory services.
Yeah.
So looking my career into financial advisory. So in this trying times and this pandemic, so me as a relationship manager, how do I maintain a relationship with my clients? So what are the tactics that I should implement right now?
As a financial advisor, you're saying?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay. Just to answer your question before that, I'll just make one more point, right? Lot many times, finance guy, they say, sir, we are also getting job offers of sales, right? And agar sales hi karna tha, if we really wanted to do sales, why did the hell we took, finance? Now, I'll come to I'll give certain background to this before I answer your question. If you're taking finance and you think, I've taken finance, so, I will not be doing sales, that's a wrong myth again, if I'm saying, corporates, they will, lot many times you will end up, getting into sales, right? Even with your finance, or if you enter into a bank. Now, look, financial institutes or banks as of that matter, or finance sector has lot many products in their array, right? And you as an MBA grad or as a graduate would also be selling this product. Now, the reason why the companies try to do this, right, or tell you to do this as a job, as a function, because you need to understand the products, right? And unless until you don't understand the product and you don't sell, you can never become a good manager. These are the fundamentals. Now imagine that you have reached to a manager position, right, and you have not sold, you don't know, you don't have a product knowledge, right? First of all, you won't reach there if your fundamentals are not correct, right? So unless until you don't sell, you don't understand the product, the technicalities of product. So if you're working in a bank, you have, say, right from loans, right from demat, right from credit cards, selling credit cards, right from FDs, right from various bonds, insurances. You need to know what the product is all about, what are the technicalities, right? And once you become managers, you have seen all this, you have faced the customers, you have sold this, and you know what are the problem areas. Obviously, you need to update yourself as well, because with changing times, the product will change, the policies will change, right? And the manager has to also upgrade and update himself. But the idea is you will start with selling, right? Even if you're taking finance, and that is what is happening, right? And students are in dilemma, sir, why do you want to do sales, right? But the idea is you need to do sales because you need to understand the product and sell the product. But unless and until you don't know what are the problem areas when you sell, to your customers, it will become very difficult that you become a good, successful, manager. It will. Now, coming back to your question of, how to maintain that relationships. So now look, one way, I would say to maintain relationship is, and then now again, it comes back to an individual has various tactics, right? Uh, Most often than not, if you ask me as a strategy, ask, why question, then what question. Now, when I'm saying, why question, then what question, that specifically means, to interact, so for example, let me give you an example. Um, what you have what you have bought, right? Rather than asking that, you should ask why you have bought this, right? For example, if so suppose you happen to visit to a client's place, right? Or he visits you in your retail store, or in your advisory, right? Financial advisory. And just you see some kind of a mobile or some interest that you want to open up a conversation. It's your first meeting, right? Since that's the question you asked, it's your first meeting. You still look at a watch, or you look at a shirt, or look at a pen, right? Please, observation is very, very key when you're into sales. I always believe that you observe very carefully, right? How the person is, what kind of personality is, what is his body language, right? And ask him, for example, start with the conversation by asking few basic questions, right? And then getting about why he has bought this pen, rather than what kind of pen this is, right? So that will open up a lot of questions, and you guys would start engaging with each other. And please understand, if your interest matches, salespeople are very smart and cunning enough, rightly said, that they will try to portray that this is also my area of interest, or I have been here, or I have worked here. Maybe they have not done this, but you need to also have some kind of knowledge, so that you interact, right? And it shouldn't be a question mark you just say for the sake of saying, and you end up lose on the losing side, right? So more techniques, if you ask me, open up, right? That's one way to look at it. Try to see what is his area interest, maybe asking some questions. If you get his KYC, what you get into finance, yeah, know your customers, and if you find something which wherein you can open up. And if you're asking from the pandemic point of view, I would say, so then you have to look, what products would exactly match in this pandemic times, right? So a lot of some of my colleagues are there into insurances, and they're using this as a tool, right? To sell, which is very obvious, right? This is not a strategy, but a very common sense thing to do, to boost up your sales. They're using this as their as their platform, or as a tool that use pandemic, use fear. And these are some of the things that you guys would be using to sell an insurance, or to sell some financial product, if it blends with what I'm trying to say. Are you getting? Who asked me? Srijan, you asked
No,
me this
sir.
question.
Gunjan, yeah, I asked you.
Gunjan, yeah, yes, Gunjan. You asked me this question. Yeah, so are you getting what I'm trying to say?
Yes,
So
sir, absolutely.
yeah, so you need to open up. There are different ways, but also I said, a few minutes back, that you need to really understand this more, and look for what he's looking for as a product. See, if sometimes as I said, customer is really not interested, right? You try, right? But don't be too pushy at times. Sometimes becoming very pushy also doesn't help, right? Give him some time. Sometimes people will ask you, I'll get back to you, and you are actually in a question mark, ye aise hi bol ke gaya, ki is he really going to come back to me, right? And give him some time, then make a call. And as I said, at least you need to do a 5 follow-ups in good interval of times, right? So that sales do happen. The question is, lot many times they do once, twice, three more, and they leave it. And that's why, they don't crack the deal. And normally, and that's what even the data says, for the sales to happen, at least you have to do a 5 follow-ups, 6, maybe sometimes, maybe 10, right? Depends how long it takes. Sometimes it will really take, 6 months, 1 year to crack a deal, right? I have personally faced this, and I've seen this happening, right? When I was working in corporate. So sometimes it will happen, but understand this, as I was saying, relationship will always help. Even if the deal doesn't happen, no matter, maybe he'll give you a reference, maybe down the lane he will remember you, he will come back to you, there are different ways to look at it, right? When the need arises, if you have maintained that healthy relationship, but it has to be a continuous relationship. ऐसा नहीं आज मैंने कर दिया, message भेज दिया, and then because people will tend to forget, right? So you have to give them a tap on the back now and then again, but it shouldn't be very frequently. Somewhere down the line, right? So things doesn't get much pushy. Yes. Next question.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Next question. Yeah, I'll stop the so that even I can see. One second, I'll stop the sharing of the screen. Yeah. Yes. Other questions coming from your side? Yeah. Anybody else? Yes,
Yes,
Prashant. Yes. Shubham, go ahead.
yes, sir. A very good evening, sir.
Yeah, very good evening. Go ahead, Shubham.
Sir, like my area of interest is both marketing and operations.
Okay.
And at a time, I felt that the both domains could be a really great help because because all of the things that we have been seeing right now in pandemic.
Yep.
These two domains have been really connected. Marketing and operations. Like operations has been one of the sector that has been affected very large area, and marketing has been also affected, but they have shifted it to online platforms.
Correct.
So, sir, is there any chance that marketing and operations, if I take it together, would there be chance that I might not get a particular field in a company, like as a position, because I have interest in both of the domains?
Okay. So now look, either you have to be on operation sides or marketing side. So now if you want to be on both sides, now one thing that is very fastly picking up is what we call D2C, right? That is direct to customers. And this is where operations people and marketing are getting linked together. To answer your question, right? Now, what if you ask me what is direct to customers, like we have B2B, B2C, right? This is really evolving what we call D2C, right? That is direct to customers. Now, what is happening is in operations, the middlemen, what we call, right from the suppliers, distributors, right, the channels, the intermediaries who are there, they are being ruled off, right? And companies are now directly selling their products to the customers, right? And they themselves are doing marketing. Now here comes your, if you want to be into this, in fact, I see this is really growing very, very high. And there are a lot of companies doing this, right from FMCG, right, right from, electronic products, right, companies are doing. So to name, few, Imami as a cream are doing this, there is Baby Earth, Mama Earth, who are into, baby products are doing this, Mom and Company there, and there are many brands, are doing this, what we call D2C. So what they're actually doing is right from manufacturing to reaching directly to the customers. Now the advantage is they are saving a lot of cost, right, of the middlemen, what they were doing. So which was actually a boon, right, in this pandemic, right? It became a bane, right, because they were heavily dependent on all this, intermediaries, right, from distributors and suppliers, and this was not moving. And companies thought, let us, directly reach with help of, social media platforms. That was the medium which they extensively used and reached directly to the consumers through online platforms, through websites, through Amazons, or through other, e-commerce websites. And that is how companies have done massively, profits during this by adopting D2C, right? So they have saved a lot of cost, right? And have actually reached. It is not easy. Now there are disadvantages as well. So it's not only about advantages. Agar khali advantages hota, they would have done way back, right? But since the situation demanded this, a lot of companies have done this and have been successful by saving a lot of cost and directly reaching to customers. So I hope I have given certain insights to your question when you're talking about operations and marketing, which is really evolving.
Yes, sir.
And a lot of companies are doing this. And in fact, you can adopt this operations and marketing, blending it together, and this is becoming a very successful strategy which they are using. Right, which companies are using.
Okay, sir. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. All right, Shubham.
Actually, sir, I have heard from many people that either go into marketing or choose operations. Don't go for both the things. So that's
See,
why I thought that I should ask you.
correct. See, ideally, what happens, in business school also, you always have majors and minors, right? Seeing your area
Correct.
of interest, but you'll always take major where you have more interest and where you want to land up in a corporate, right? Minor will give you an extra edge where you can club and as a support function, right? Like what you said, operation and marketing, but you feel that operation is more dominant as per your you want to enter into that or marketing, right? So you have to choose. But I'll tell you, D2C, I see, as an individual, both are going hand in hand and both are playing important role, right from manufacturing what the company is doing and reaching to the customers, where marketing plays a very very important role. Right from manufacturing to packaging to to the pricing and then reaching to the end consumers. So D2C is coming in a big way. In fact, actually, you can look into this area and explore this and can land up into this. So it's a good area.
Thank you, sir. That
Yep.
that gives me confidence, sir. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, definitely. It is picking up by large. Yes. Any more
Yes,
questions?
sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I had one question. So
Go ahead.
coincidentally, I just had a talk with my placement coordinator where she
Yep.
was trying to tell me how marketing is associated with sales,
Huh.
right? And you
Hmm.
have, I had some pre-notions and so I had a few problems with sales, which you have been able to clear out. And you gave
Yep.
us a lot of tips as well about how 10 no's and then 1 yes, and we should do
Yep.
5 follow-ups. But still, as someone who's a new professional in the field, what would be your tips or what would be your one advice to keep in mind while entering in a field without much experience?
Okay. So the tips I would give is, in an industry, always have a mentor, right? That is one thing that when you go into a corporate, have one mentor who is able to guide you since you're new, right? Now see, in sales, in sales, it's very competitive, right? You will also be competing within yourself when you get targets, right? This is the normal basic scenario which happens. And you move around with that mentor, right? And understand, how is he pitching, how is his body language, what are the, and every different customers will have a different problem, right? Look how he's addressing to different problems, right? What technique is he using, right? How is he showing the brochure? Does he shows exactly A, B, C to all the customers? Won't happen. You just look. Maybe he'll give some information, but he will give information in a way that what is required. He will not show everything, right? Unless and until it is required, or unless until he asks, right? So a mentor is very very necessary, right? A guide, a mentor, whatever you want to name it, in an industry when you land up, and be with him. Try to understand, just observe, and that's what I'm saying. Observation is a key, right? Even when you're doing internship, a lot of students say, sir, I didn't learn much, maybe company didn't entertain me much, but I give them advice. Okay, fine. If the companies are skeptical, not touching things, maybe you will hamper them or you will do something wrong. But at least what you can do is you can observe and you can request them, sir, I would like to come with you. Is that okay with you? I'll just sit in a corner and just see how, what are the things that you do, right? And tell him, sir, it's great that how we have dealt, and ask him, sir, questions. No, sir, agar aisa hota to fir kaisa hota? How would you would have handled, right? Also, your relationship building would start right from there once you enter into corporate. When you get choose your mentor wisely. If you don't choose, maybe your manager would give you a senior executive or a team leader, right? You will be under a team leader, and look, how that team leader is. Maybe sometimes he will be very harsh, right? As I said, he will try to tell you, he will say, this is what I have been doing, this is what exactly you also have to do. Don't do this way, do that way. Could be a case, right? But fine, you just listen him out. You have to do your own way. What are you good at? Everybody has a different way of pitching. Everybody's pitching is not same. Look how he's talking on the phone, right? Does he pitch the same way? More often not, if a sales executive is really successful, he will pitch in a different way. Seeing initially would be the same, but then as the conversation goes by, ab dekho uska pitching ekdam change ho jayega, right? He will understand what he's looking for. Always also try to understand, understand that where is that the question mark is coming from the customer's point of view, right? And also try, even if you fail initially, it's absolutely fine. Company will also take it positively. Since you're new, right? You go and visit a client individually and find out, what introspect. Why did this didn't happen? Go and talk to your mentor. Go and talk to your manager. Sir, this is what you were saying. Maybe, a lot many times you will call. and ask them. And this is what manager will say. You're new. If you get stuck, give immediately call. Give me a call, and I'll try to address, or give you a solution for this, right? If that can help, right? So these are, fundamentals. What as a tip I would give you. You also need to work on yourself, but try to get a good mentor, right? It makes a lot of difference if you get a good mentor or if you don't have a mentor, right? It is very important, because somebody you look up to, right? There will be somebody right from your schooling age till what you're doing now, maybe a teacher you look up to, maybe a friend you look up to. You get a lot of things, to whom you really really like. It is very important, right? Yeah, so I hope that this will help you. Yeah. Is anything else? Yes, Shitija, works fine with you? Yeah. Anything else? Any other questions? Yep. Yes, Suresh is a true entrepreneur. Why students? Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So the question is,
Yes, Disha.
why students hesitate for sales job, and why you suggest today's students for this type of blockade?
Come again. Okay, okay. You're just reading the
Yeah.
chat box. Okay, okay. Okay, I was about to read that. Okay. True entrepreneur. Why students hesitate for sales jobs, and what you suggest today's students for this type of blockages. Okay. Now, as I said, the first thing when I started, what things comes to your mind when you hear about sales. So sales is something, where people, the first notion is, people are scared. People have fear because, they see it's about number games, it's about target, right? It's about being extrovert, right? That is what the points I was trying to, emphasize. Okay, fine. If you have this notion, no problem. What you need to do, you, as I said, even if you're introvert, you can acquire certain skill sets, right? You can become, a good salesperson, even if you're, you don't open up. I've seen, few people who don't speak much, right? They speak how much is required, right? They're not that extrovert, but the skills what they have acquired, right? The personality, the calmness, the composure, right? In fact, lot of good salesperson I see are very calm, very good at hearing, but don't speak much, are very good than the people those who are aggressive or extrovert, right? So it purely depends, how are you taking it? Many a times, I'll just stress on one more point. How you perceive sales is how actually you will perform in sales, right? So that is the mantra that I will give you. For example, if you feel like, if you have the notion that sales is all about, running from one place to another, if you perceive it in that manner, more often than not you will take sales in that way, right? If you perceive sales as building customer relationship, you'll start, looking at sales, and whenever you go, right, it's all about the notion what you have about sales, how you take it as an individual. Now every individual takes it in a different way. So if you're taking it as, a sales number as a target, this is what you will always strive for. If you're looking for, sales for a customer relationship, that is how you have taken sales. It's all sales is all about customer relationship, and whenever you go, you start building the relationship, right? So again, I would say that the mantra is how you notion, how you take it this as a notion of sales is what you perceive is what you will deliver when you get into the sales, right? So I hope that answer that question. Why student sales hesitate for sales job is purely because they are scared, right? This the notion what we have, what we say, how they pitch in, or they are very cunning. They are they will just chupify our product, and we don't want to. And that's why I said, a lot of they actually go to sales manager and they say, please remove sales executive, give a better title for us, so that when we go, we don't want to associate ourselves without sales. Please understand, sales is not a bad thing. Lot of money is there in sales, right? All, as I said, a lot of big people sitting at that CEO VP level are from sales, because sales will give you a lot of insights from the customers, from the environment, from the competitors point of view. You name, from bridging the gap, people sitting inside the office don't really know what is working, what is not working. Sales people, they know, right? And that is why they are always in thick of action, whether it may be pricing, whether it may be advertising, what people are accepting, what are the problem areas. Sales will give you hell lot of insights, and that makes you a good entrepreneur. Yeah, to answer, if you're talking from the entrepreneurship, doing sales will how to develop relationship. What is the product all about? What is the competitors doing? Right? Do you want to become a true entrepreneur? Go for sales. That will give you a lot of insights. Right? I hope I have given some answer to the question which was asked. Yep. Everybody with me?
Yes, we are all with you.
Is it a satisfactory answer? Hope. I think some of
my understanding about that question is very different. The question came from YouTube. The question is asking why students hesitate for sales jobs. So I just want to ask all this question, students here, whoever present, about 25, 30 people, how many are you actually open for sales jobs? Sales is sales. Okay, I don't want to give you consultant. I don't want to give you any glorified word. If sales job is a sales job, I have been all my life as a sales guy, and I'm proud to be any time of point of my life. I would love to call myself as a salesman. Okay. So if you ask me what makes me so proud, yes, at the age of 24, 25, I made my house in Mumbai being in sales. So that's the biggest achievement, which I am very proud of. And you should also be proud of if you're in sales tomorrow. And there's nothing wrong in it. It's a great job. If you go abroad, as a driver is one of the very professional job, right? But here we call it a driver, bhai. That's a kind of it's all about the mindset, difference between the mindset and the pre-mindset. Okay.
Correct. That is what I was saying. How you perceive things is, how
absolutely.
would you? Yeah, absolutely. It will boil down to that.
If I ask how many of you are really up for sales job tomorrow when you get on the job, if you opt to, how many can be opting? I can't hear one. Ritesh, I can see yes.
Bhavani Singh has also said yes.
Shivam, I can see yes.
Shimona is yes.
I can't see many of them. Okay. You can say thumbs up. And Neha Sabnani said yes. Okay. She just said yes. And okay. So the question for about the 70% of people, what they think. See, today, COVID has actually given a lot of learnings. People need to change the ideology of how they want to put across, use their talents and use their knowledge to take up any kind of profession. You need to be more proactive rather than just being active, because it's all going to be timely played your own actions and reactions. And you need to be very, very, very open for opportunities and use your own talent. Tomorrow, if you do not find any kind of job also, you need to use your own brain and use where I can use my brains and where I can work out. So and knowingly, unknowingly, we all do sales jobs. Okay.
Correct.
So that is what my take is, but
correct. That's what we started with. Everybody does sales.
That's overall. The topic is all about that. Everybody sells.
Correct.
Right? So that's
correct. That's where we started from, right? From a child, everybody does sales. Even at the interview, at interview we are selling.
Great.
Right?
Yeah,
so
great.
by choice, you can take sales. There is no harm. Please understand. If you go into another domains, sometimes you will really find that's more challenging. Finance with numbers, one number can absolutely make havoc. Right? In sales, you'll get many chances. And everybody understands, it will take some time. But in finance, I see some of my friends in finance, they are always in so much of stress with numbers. Okay, they are dealing with actual numbers. Even one mistake, and you can get a pink slip from your corporate, right? And that is, see, the challenges are there everywhere, right? Don't underestimate that. In sales, may he sort of challenge hai or numbers hai or targets hai. Not true. And as I said, in finance also, if you guys taking finance, you enter, maybe you will get, initially you will be doing sales, right? That is what major of the companies are doing, or picking up MBA grads or graduation and telling us to start selling this, because that will make you, your foundation would be very, very strong when you land up, higher, when you go up the ladder. Now, that is what it happens.
That's a great input, Ravi. I will not take much time off yours. Sorry to interrupt. The guys who are actually doing sales, they'll get into marketing, they'll get into product designing, they get into training. So it's a kind of growth. But whoever actually picks up sales have a different kind of confidence whatever you're going to build. It's my personal gauge all over, which I have seen the careers, which is from sales and towards marketing, towards product designing, towards BD, towards a kind of a training being there, and yes, towards the startups. So many startups we've been doing. So if you really pick it up sales to start with your career, it is going to be really helpful. That's what is my strong suggestion for you guys.
True. I
Thank you,
completely
Ravi,
agree.
for
I completely
great
agree.
session. I really
Yeah,
enjoyed
my pleasure.
part.
My pleasure. My
Really
pleasure,
enjoyed. Thank you
Suresh. It
so
was
much.
nice meeting with you and with all the students,
Thank you.
energetic students, participative students. Absolutely, I had a wonderful time. Right. My pleasure. Hope to see you guys soon. Yeah, somewhere down the line.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Ravi.
Be safe. Be at home.
Yes, sir. Same to you, sir.
Take care. Take care. Bye bye.
Sorry,
Sir.
before we
Yep.
all leave, I would request you all to turn on your cameras.
Yep.
So since we mentioned turn on the cameras, half the people have already left.
No, not a problem. Not a problem.
Yeah, exactly.
Why people are so skeptical about showing their faces online? I mean,
That's one topic I think we should, need to speak on. That's a different seminar together. Shying away.
That's an apt question, Ravi.
Correct. Yeah, I don't know why people are refraining to on the. Even in lectures, I see they don't turn on the camera. Maybe they put a lot of questions in the chat box. I mean, I don't know, and that too with a similar face, right? You guys need to be, I mean, very open. You guys are the
in my
youth.
sessions, I take the host part and I remove them simply.
Ah.
Yeah, because पर्दे के पीछे क्या रहना है? So that is the first shy thing which will, absolutely.
You should be open. There's no harm. Open enough.
Pavitra, Podil, Sandeep, Bujaya, and there are some more.
Srijan, Prashant.
Srijan, Gaikwali.
Sandeep, Prashant, Srijan.
Soumya Mishra.
Quickly, you can on.
They have some internet connectivity issue. That's why they have been prompting me that.
Okay. Not a problem. Yeah, Sandeep has turned on the camera.
Cool.
Not a problem.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Guys, also
thank you so much, everybody.
Yes, guys, please don't forget to log in tomorrow at the same time, 6:30. We have a BRATS talk, which is a panel discussion by the students for the students, and we are going to discuss a very interesting topic, which is impact of decision making. So hope to see you all there tomorrow. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you so much, BRATS from
Take care.
University.
Thank you, ma'am.
Our pleasure.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye, ma'am.
Bye. Bye, Disha. Bye, Kshitija. Hi, Shimona.
Bye, ma'am. Hi, ma'am.
Hi, how are you? Long time no see.
Good, ma'am. How are you?
Rocking as usual.
I should have asked, sir, why are you conducting online exams?
Why didn't you ask him?
Because I joined the lecture quite late and I'll ask him someday for sure. What's the point of these exams?
So that's what you should have done that. You should have asked him.